Hey guys, today we are checking out the Dazzlite Insulated Hoodie by Patagonia. That's next. Welcome to Backcountry Renegade. I'm Jeff. This channel is all about backcountry adventures and all the gear in between. If you're into those things too, consider subscribing. Today we are looking at the Dazzlite Insulated Hoodie by Patagonia. This is a popular piece if you are into climbing, mountaineering, or just need a jacket that is synthetic that you want to take out in the backcountry that's going to help you reduce any wind penetration and keep you protected from light rain. So let's check it out in a bit more detail. Patagonia's Dazzlite Hoodie is an excellent jacket option if you are considering climbing or mountaineering. Patagonia says this core alpine piece pairs lightweight synthetic down with a coated shell for enhanced weather resistance and warmth. This is actually a thinner, less bulky version of the DOS Parka, which has been a classic jacket from Patagonia for mountaineering and climbing. DOS stands for dead airspace, which means it uses the airspace within the insulation to provide warmth for your body. So this was created to be an ultralight belay style jacket for while you're mountaineering or climbing. Basically, this jacket takes the ever popular micro puff jacket and adds an additional outer shell that is also coated with a DWR finish, which makes it great for rain and snow and helps it block additional wind. The micro puff alone was fragile, and it also allowed wind to penetrate through where you did have the stitching. By putting an additional shell over that, you're able to add durability as well as help reduce wind penetration. So basically, the Dazzlite takes the best features of the micro puff and makes it more durable and weather resistant. As a result, this jacket boasts an amazing warmth to weight ratio and is still super compressible. It comes in multiple sizes and colors. This one here is in a men's small. It comes with Patagonia's lifetime guarantee and it sells new for $349, but you can often find it on sale. Let's check it out in a bit more detail, starting with the shell fabric. The Dazzlite Insulated Hoodie actually looks at taking the best of the micro puff and adds an outer shell. So the outer shell is actually a Tendoneer Pertex Quantum Pro ripstop nylon, which is actually a super ultralight ripstop nylon face fabric. The Pertex Quantum Pro version here actually adds an additional PU layer to help it have enhanced wind and rain protection. It also has a DWR finish to help repel light rain and snow. The inner lining of the fabric is also a Tendoneer Pertex Quantum ripstop nylon. It is super light, but it also has a very nice soft feel against the skin. Let's talk about the insulation. The insulation of the Dazzlite Hoodie actually features the exact same insulation that you see in the micro puff, which is 65 grams of Plumafil synthetic insulation. Plumafil is actually a proprietary insulation for Patagonia, and it actually replicates the structure of down to provide a similar warmth and compressibility. These are hair-like strands which actually maintain its loft even while it's wet, and it's still super compressible. So it's the closest thing to down out there, but it is synthetic insulation. Let's talk about the weight. The weight of the Patagonia Dazzlite Hoodie actually weighs 320 grams, or that's 11.3 ounces. And this is because you're adding the additional outer shell, which does provide a little bit more weight than the micro puff. But in reality, it's still super lightweight for all that you're getting in this jacket, especially when you consider how much you're getting in warmth. So speaking of the warmth, you have even better warmth in the Dazzlite Insulated Hoodie than the micro puff because of that additional outer shell that it has, which actually traps in warm air better and also blocks out cold wind drafts from coming in. As a result, the shell adds an additional 20% warmth compared to the regular micro puff. Let's check out the quilting pattern. The quilting pattern of the Dazzlite Insulated Hoodie, as you can tell from the outside, you have that shell fabric, which really reduces any kind of stitching here so wind cannot penetrate through. The only stitching you find is where the pieces connect, such as in the chest area and on the sides and under the arms here. So as you open it up, you can see it looks exactly like what the micro puff looks like. You have these horizontal seams, and this is an innovative quilting construction that stabilizes and maximizes the loft of the Plumafil and keeps the strands with minimal stitching. These are horizontal seams only, as opposed to horizontal and vertical that you find in the Nano Puff. And this is an alternate quilting pattern that helps keep the insulation in place while also reducing the amount of stitching needed to do so. Let's check out the pockets. The Dazzlite features two hand warmer pockets in the front that are zippered. These do a really good job here blocking out the wind when your hands are in there to keep them nice and warm. They're also raised up a little bit so you can wear a hip belt over this, and it's not going to interfere with you from putting your hands in your pockets. You also have a pretty sizable external left chest pocket. And this is nice because you can put a full-size phone, you can put keys, maybe a couple bars in here, and you have nice access to that without having to take your jacket off. Looking at the interior, you can see here, one thing that's sad compared to the Micro Puff is you lost those drop-in pockets. I would have really loved to see those kept in here, just some additional storage for gloves, goggles, or anything like that. But you don't have them in an effort to save weight. Looking at the cuffs, Patagonia says these are low profile, lightly elastic cuffs. And so these do a good job to actually seal out any cold air and keep the warm air in. You can also expand them enough to be able to fit over gloves as well. One of the biggest downsides of this jacket, in my opinion, is the lack of a hem cinch cord on the bottom brim of the jacket. You can't tighten it up to go ahead and cinch it up to prevent any cold drafts from coming in. And if you are climbing with this jacket, you'll probably feel those cold drafts coming underneath. So it would have been really nice to go ahead and have that cinch cord there. However, they didn't go with that route. Instead, they chose to have some elastic here at the brim, but it still is loose enough that it allows some cold drafts to come in. Looking at the hood, the Dazzlite features this elastic brim hood here. You also have this additional layer here that you can have this fabric go over a helmet and provide a nice little brim to keep the rain out. So it is helmet compatible and fully insulated. It features a single pull cinch cord adjustment here in the back so you can tighten your hood around your face or helmet and it's not going to fly off in the wind. Let's talk about the zippers. The Dazzlite insulated hoodie features some YKK zippers that are very high quality. They have these little pull tabs in addition to them. But on the front area, you actually have dual zippers. And this is what really makes this jacket unique and one of the cool things to make it a belay jacket. So you have dual zippers here. You can have your zipper all the way up. And then when you're on belay, you can actually open the bottom zipper and it opens up that way to allow access from your belay and not having to take off your jacket or to put your harness over your jacket. So this makes it a really cool, versatile jacket for using all sorts of activities, especially for climbing. Let's talk about the weather resistance. The Dazzlite is much more weather resistant than the normal Micro Puff, and that's because of that additional Pro outer layer shell, which adds to weather resistance of the jacket. It helps cut out a lot of extra wind drafts. It also helps the rain from penetrating through and soaking into the insulation. Because it is synthetic, it's going to maintain its loft even if it does get wet. This doesn't mean it's waterproof by any means. It's not a hard shell, so if you're anticipating really heavy rain or heavy snow, you might want to put a hard shell over this. But if you're getting light rain, light snow, this will do a very sufficient job of helping repel that off while also blocking the wind. So pretty awesome when it comes to weather resistance, but not the same weather resistance of a hard shell. Let's talk about the durability. This is a pretty durable jacket compared to the Micro Puff. Because of the additional outer shell, it provides extra durability. So you can take it in comfort as you're climbing and not having to worry about being scuffed up on a mountain or anything like that compared to the Micro Puff, which is very easily to get tears because it is so fragile and thin. The fit of the Dazzlite insulated hoodie is pretty good. It's relaxed and loose fitting, and it's meant to go over your other layers, so it is a little bit larger than typical jackets there. It has more of a parka-like feel, so it does allow for sufficient layers underneath. Looking at the style, it is a pretty stylish jacket. It has your basic features. I really like the black and tan color here. It doesn't flash that you're out in the mountains all the time if you want to take this out in town, but it's sufficient for the mountains and you can still look good in town. It is going to be a little bit baggy though, and it can be a little bit noisy at that because of this outer shell here that is meant to repel rain. Dazzlite insulated hoodie has great compression, similar to that of the Micro Puff, but not as much because you do have that additional shell. It does stuff into the front left pocket, so we're going to go ahead and do that there. All right, so here it is compressed in its front left pocket. You also have this little tab here that you can have it clip onto a carabiner on your hip belt or harness. And it is pretty tight in there. It can be hard to push in here, but when it is in there, it's nice to compress. It can be hard to zip up all the way, but other than that, it features about the size of maybe a Nalgene bottle, so it's not too bulky or anything like that. So concluding thoughts, overall, this is a pretty awesome jacket. It adds a lot of other features and versatility compared to the regular Micro Puff. This outer shell here gives you extra wind protection, but also rain protection as well as some extra durability. Some other pros of the jacket is the extra dual zipper, which gives you access to a belay. You also are able to have these pockets that are a little bit higher up to allow you to wear a harness or a hip belt. Some of the cons of this jacket is it is a little bit pricier than the Micro Puff, and you do have some additional weight as well. One of the biggest things about this jacket that I didn't like is the lack of the hem cinch cord on the waist. So if you are climbing, you will still get a little cold drafts as well. So what did you think of the Dazzlite insulated hoodie? Is this a jacket you'd consider for your climbing adventures? Leave me a comment in the comments section if you like what you saw. Make sure you give me a thumbs up. Also subscribe for more jacket content like this. And as always, thanks for watching.